For round 3 of Formula Drift, we headed north to Raceway Park at Englishtown, New Jersey. This is the first purpose-built Coliseum-style racetrack like that that's been built in the States. Englishtown's a very unique layout of how the whole thing's run. So it's at an old drag strip, first of all, but they've added some things too. The chicane even was a little bit weird. It was a harder chicane than what we're used to, so it slowed the cars down even more, which isn't a bad thing. It was just different than what we're used to. So we get through the chicane, come under the tunnel, we're hauling it toward the wall, and even the initiation's a little weird because you're kind of coming at the wall at an odd angle. So right where outer zone 1 starts is where the wall finally meets and then abruptly ends. So I found the wall a couple times throughout the course of the weekend, ripped my bumper off a couple of times. I had ordered a new taillight, but it didn't come in before this round, and I'm glad it didn't now because I would have busted it easily on Thursday and still would have had it looking like crap for Saturday, but you know, I saved myself $200, I guess. Entering into outer zone 2, you really kind of have to point the car back toward the start of the track to be able to get the right arc into outer zone 2. And outer zone 2 is really long, and you can't really see it from anything on TV, but when you get through the first half outer zone 2, you're actually kind of going slightly uphill, and then once you cross over the drag strip, you kind of lose some of that incline and you start going downhill. So the car actually loses a little bit of grip right there, and as you leave outer zone 2, you pour a little bit more angle on. As you approach interclip 1, you can really lay the throttle down. Big smoke, big angle, big throttle coming across interclip 1 and then back across the track for the final outer zone. Kind of a fast, big transition. That's where everybody looks like they're gonna plow the wall down and wreck their car, but I think everybody actually made it unscathed through there for the most part, coming into outer 3, which was the really scary point of the racetrack where you know, you might lose a car there. So at the very end of the track, there's a little dip off where if you overshoot it or go too wide, you kind of do like a board slide coming across the end of the track, and you'd probably pinch your exhaust and maybe lose a drive shaft. So that was definitely something we didn't want to do. It's something I came close to doing more than once, but I was able to avoid it. We haven't been sitting awesome yet in points so far for 2021. So I was one of the later cars to go in qualifying. I think we were 25th or something like that. We were hyped up Friday night, ready to rock, and unfortunately, the lights didn't come on for the track. So they tried to get the lights on, a couple different things. Apparently the generator blew up, puked its guts out, and that didn't work out. So they tried to refire it, couldn't do it. Brought in some other stuff and tried to like throw duct tape on it to fix it basically, and fired the lights up again. Everybody got really excited, and then 30 seconds later the lights puked out again. They tried one more time. It stayed on for like 5 minutes that time. We were all like, cars fired up, about to hit the burnout box, we're gonna get this done, and then it puked the last time. They're like, all right, no more, we're not doing this. And we didn't get to qualify Friday night. So we had to do it at 8 o'clock Saturday morning. Track got poured on Friday night with rain, had a ton more grip in it than what I thought it would and what I compensated for, and I qualified like crap. Just didn't have a good lap, and you know, it's my job as a driver and person that owns this car and helps the initial setup. I should have compensated better for that gain in grip and loss in track temperature, and I just didn't, and it once again bit us. We've seen it 3 events in a row, unfortunately, with not qualifying great, and kind of how that sets you up for a tough draw in top 32, and it was again the case this time at round 3. During the warm-up on Saturday, I finally kind of figured out the racetrack. I figured out that I shouldn't pour as much angle on at outer zone 1 as I had been doing. Kind of a gradual rotation to angle and then back on the power hard, and it really kind of helped set it up. And then I also had a conversation with Donald with Yellow Speed, who really helped me with some shock settings, stiffening up the front end. The judges and some other people had made some comments about my front end really looking bouncy. And we made some changes, the front end got settled, and it really changed the whole dynamic of the car and me being able to put it where I wanted it to be, as well as it not kind of having that bunny hop effect going through all the corners. So by the time we finished practice before top 32 started, I was feeling really confident. We were the 3rd battle out. I'm like, yep, this is going to be the time that we get redemption against Ryan Tuerck. He's put me out a couple times. We've gone one more time a couple times, and Ryan's a great guy, and I like him a lot, but I really wanted to put him on the trailer. And then 5 minutes before we started, the bottom fell out, the heavens opened, and the rain washed out Englishtown, New Jersey. And that is not what we were prepared for. So I really haven't gotten a lot of driving experience in the rain with the Cadillac. Nobody's got any driving experience in the rain in Englishtown, much less where you go concrete to asphalt to concrete to asphalt to concrete multiple times throughout the run, and it had just rained, so all the oils just come to the top. It was not good, it was not pretty. I went out, they did give us a sight lap, so we got one lap to figure it out. You know, we practiced the whole weekend in the dry, and you know, for one thing, and then it rains and you get one lap to figure it out. But I commend the series for doing that. They didn't have to do that. They aren't obligated in any way, and it slows the show down, so I appreciated getting the lap. However, in that lap, I looked like I'd never driven a drift car before. I think I spun out 3 times. It was ugly. I told Tamara on the radio coming back from the sight lap, I'm like, this is about to be a show. It's a mess. I am not feeling great, and I hope I make 2 laps and not make myself look like a fool. I line up behind Ryan. He led first, he was the higher qualifier. I kind of took some cues from him, matched his speed leading up to outer 1. I initiated behind him before he did, thinking that he was going to be initiating early. He did not initiate that early, and I did, so that was kind of my first mistake. Started off too far behind him, caught up across the middle, actually had one little aha moment, and coming into outer zone 2 and in through the middle of outer zone 2, but coming across that little crest that I talked about where you lose grip in the dry, but you really lose grip in the wet when you come over that hill, coming across the drag strip, and I poured a ton of angle on, almost spun the car out. He got a big gap on me, and we were doing drifting on the same racetrack, but in no way would I call it tandem for the remainder of the first run. I finished the run and he finished the run, and we were kind of on the same racetrack, is the way I would describe it. So then we go back around. I have my lead run. It's, again, much slower than Ryan's. I got to work on wet setup for my car, and I kind of watched some videos and figured out that most of the people are running with a lot less angle than what I was running with in the rain, so that kind of explains why my car was running at like 4 miles an hour and 8,000 RPM in 4th gear, while they were going 20 miles an hour faster than me at less RPM and less throttle. So it's just something I gotta learn and do better on, but I led. Ryan did a good job not running over me once again, this time in the wet, not in the dry, but had a pretty decent lead run. Wasn't real choppy, and he did make one mistake where he held on me too long coming after inner clip 1 coming into outer zone 3, and almost made some contact as I transitioned. He almost didn't leave me enough room to transition, but he was able to gather it up and do right and get back on my door and finish strong, and he won the battle, and it was the right call. He did way better than me for those 2 laps. They made the changes as a team to the car. He made the changes he needed to as a driver, and he beat me straight up fair and square. I got some work to do back to the drawing board on rain setup notes and talk to people that are smarter than me about how to do it right. To finish up Englishtown round 3, I was really excited to come out for this first stadium style event where you got fans literally surrounding the whole track 360 degrees. I've said that America's missing the boat on this style of event. I like to think I'm the reason this happened, even though I know I'm not. A lot of people have been saying that. They do these style of events in Europe a lot, and I really am excited to see the US kind of follow suit and do some stuff like this. I think I don't want all of drifting in US to mimic that of Europe and to do these style of events, but I really think it's cool to sprinkle these in and do it too, because the fan experience is just really great. And speaking of them, really appreciate the fans that stuck it out, especially in the rain. And it rained for real. It wasn't just, you know, a little sprinkle. It was a lot of rain, and it rained for a while. And they stuck around and had a great time. It was a big crowd. And I think the first event for Englishtown, New Jersey should be considered a success. There was some great on-track action, even if I didn't provide it for most of Saturday. We think the next time we go back there, we'll be able to mix it up. We got some great notes to take with us and move forward into the next event. So again, thank you to our team, our wonderful partners, and all the fans that came out to support us. I hope you're enjoying these videos. If you are, please take a moment to like, comment, subscribe. And we got some more exciting stuff to talk to you about. Stick around, we'll talk about that soon.